us aren't perfect. God is really the one that completely fills us. We can have the most loving family, but human relationships don't fill that emptiness inside of us. Hey everyone, so I'm just sitting down to edit this video and realized that my first clip is missing where I introduced this video. I don't think this has ever happened before. So, and my third clip is missing for some odd reason. So I thought I'd better hop on here and explain what this video is about. I just wanted to do kind of a multitasking video, I guess you call it, or talk with me. I have seen some of those on YouTube and really enjoyed them because I have some projects that I've been wanting to get done. And I also have some things on my mind I wanted to talk to you all about the holidays, just things I'm thinking about. I'm going to be painting a tray and trying to stencil it for one of the projects, and my clip that's missing had a before shot on it. So I am sorry I don't have a very good before shot, but if you look at this next clip, you will see, you can kind of see, you'll have to look up a little bit close, but you can see the before and what the tray looked like. I'm out here in an ugly part of my garage. I would love to do this during the day, but I kind of have to get it in when I can with having a job. So I'll just do it in the garage. To show you guys what this stand looks like. I got this for $2 at a garage sale late this summer, and it has these little flowers in that I'm hoping I can paint over and maybe take this out. I'm not sure how it's all going to work yet. And there's another one down here. Well, this is soaking up the spray paint about as fast as I'm putting it on. So I was debating about whether just to kind of leave the rustic look, or I might, once this dries, I might just grab a paintbrush and put some real paint on it. It did the porcelain, or this part, ceramic part here really well. I see there's a little bit of the flower shining through, but I think that'll be covered with a stencil. So while these are kind of drying, I'll start talking. I was hoping I could get them done and then talk in the house where it's a much nicer environment, but here I am. So what I'm thinking about, and I'm trying not to get any paint on me here, and my hand is a little painty. But what I've been thinking about lately, I don't know how you guys are feeling about the upcoming holidays. This is the year of our family's off year for Thanksgiving. We usually do, like, one year we all get together over Thanksgiving, and then the next year we all get together over Christmas. And I have a big family. I come from a family of 8 siblings, of 8 children, and there's about 35 nieces and nephews, so it's a pretty big crowd when we all get together. So whenever it's the in-between year, I always have to think about, like, what am I going to do for the holidays this year? I can always go spend with my parents, and I always enjoy spending time with them, but there's also something about a holiday that just feels like, you know, there should be children and laughter and fun and groups and games and things like that. And so I always feel a little bit sad when it's the off year. And it's something I try to plan for, like, okay, what am I going to do this year? And I found it really helpful to just, you know, accept some invitations. Like for Thanksgiving, sometimes I will spend like lunch with my parents, and then maybe late afternoon or evening I'll go to my brother-in-law's house, where my sister, of course, and the family are, and they live local. They're a big family as well, and they love to play games, and they're just the kind of people that you can feel completely at home. Like, you know, you walk in the house and they're kind of like, oh, hi, you know, and you know, here's a seat for you. You can help play this game or whatever. And last year I went with my sister-in-law's family, and they were like, hey, why don't you just come with us? We're heading over to Pennsylvania to her family. There's always a little bit of a hesitation at first. It's like, oh, but you know, they're not my family, and And is this going to be a little awkward? And do I want to or don't I? And I was so glad last year I did. They're also the kind of family there who just, you know, are like, hey, welcome, and then they don't like just dote on you or whatever. So, because I think sometimes when people just dote on you, it makes you just feel more awkward, or maybe that's just me. But I love when people just kind of welcome you in as part of the family and you just feel at home and like there's no expectations. And so what I have just really tried to do is accept some of those invitations. So I don't know if that's where you find yourself or how that is for you. Maybe some people enjoy being by themselves on the holiday. I don't know. I did it one year for Christmas. My parents, I think, were in Florida that winter, and I was like, oh, I can do this. And I was young, much younger. And I think I even went into work a little bit. I had a very flexible job, but I decided that is the last time I'm going to do that. It feels like when there's a holiday, you just think of all these families and people that are around you, probably having fun together and enjoying relationships and time together. Like obviously there's situations where it wouldn't be appropriate, or you know, you just really might not feel, it might not be life-giving to be around those people. I mean, that's another thing entirely. But sometimes just pushing past the awkwardness to say, yes, I will join you. I think that we were created for relationships. And maybe you're in the other end where you have family that you are getting together. I would also encourage you to just look out for those people who might not have something and might need a place to go. I don't know if you're the kind of family who is comfortable with that. That might be something that you need to get out of your box too, and out of push past the awkwardness and say, hey, you know, do you have something going? And you know, you can come with us, and then just make them feel at home. I know every family is different. Some people are better at that than others. But and it might be a person you don't think of. You know, it might be someone you think is a very well-adjusted person who does well socially. But maybe this is just the year. Maybe they're single. Maybe they're elderly. Maybe widowed, or they're just a family that's new to the community or doesn't have good connections with their family. You know, you never know. And now I am going to see if this is dry enough to stencil. So this is not drying as fast as I hoped, and I might have to finish this tomorrow. If I would have known how time-consuming this is, I probably wouldn't have done it. I'm trying to do this stencil with the acorns and the pine needles, and you have to punch out every little fine thing. But I'm going to keep going on it and see. Yeah, hopefully in the end it will pay off. This is actually the next morning now. Last night didn't quite turn out the way that I had hoped. I allowed the tray to dry overnight, and because it was just feeling kind of sticky last night yet. I thought I'd just keep talking while I'm doing this. If I can. Feels like it takes kind of a lot of concentration to get these little pieces. So another thing that I was thinking about for the holidays is, I don't know about you all, but if they end up feeling overwhelming sometimes, there's usually about 50 people when we all get together. And sometimes, even though we love to be together, we love to see each other, because about half of my family is from out of state and we don't get to see each other that often. But sometimes when you're in a big group for a couple of days, and when we do get together, it's usually for a few days, your head can start spinning. It can start feeling a little overwhelming. There's just a lot of noise and happy noise, and sometimes you kind of need your space a little bit. So one of my mentors suggested to me last year, I think it was, that thinking about the upcoming holidays, to take notice of what you're feeling during the holidays and writing it down afterward, journaling about it afterwards. What are the things that brought you joy, and what are the things that felt stressful to you? What do you want to be different next year? And so I've been getting, I got my journal out that I wrote about last year, my reflections on our time together, and looking over the joy moments. So these are things that I will want to do again this year, and then the moments that were stressful. Like the joy moments were sometimes in the past it's been hard for me to just get away for a little bit. Like sometimes, even though you love being together, sometimes you just need, an hour away totally by yourself to just kind of let your brain, I don't know, decompress. That's not really the word I'm looking for, but like, yeah, just kind of let your brain air out. Last year, it was running to the store one morning for some things that we needed for lunch that day. And normally I would tell, someone, hey, do you want to go with me? And I just kind of, that feeling like you have to be with someone all the time. And this time I just told myself that I need to go by myself. And it was amazing how just that hour at the store all by myself boosted me and helped me to be more present. Maybe that's a good way to say it. Sometimes just getting away helped me actually to be more present when I am with people. A stressful moment was, one of the things I have is managing a photo booth. I did a photo booth last year just for the nieces and nephews, and that was kind of a big project. It ended up being a little bit more of a ruckus than I expected. I mean, they loved it. We had like the little Thanksgiving things, and it was fun taking pictures, but it didn't quite, I don't know, I felt like it was maybe a little bit more chaos than worth. So I'm trying to tell myself, be careful of those big projects that just bring unnecessary ruckus, especially when you have a lot of little children involved. And I do love to take some time sometimes to just play with them. I think kids need that on the holidays. They start, especially the younger kids, they start feeling it that, they don't have their parents' attention as much. Maybe there's just a lot going on and they need that little time with an adult. And so I like to do that occasionally, just sit down and play a game with them. But there's also times that I want and need connection with the adults, with my siblings and with my in-laws. And like last year, that was kind of a stress where, knowing when to say, maybe I'll do that in a little while, but right now I am talking with, so-and-so, or we're playing a game as an adult right now. But I'm the single aunt, and so I kind of get asked a lot. So I don't know what it is for you all, but maybe just something that would be helpful if you're someone who tends to get a little overwhelmed over the holidays, is just to take note of those things that bring you joy and things that stress you out, and then just make a plan. Maybe, or try to make, or maybe, I don't know if make a plan is even the right way to say it, but just kind of keep those things in mind when you are together. The holidays, so it can be a time where you can be refreshed and present. This didn't turn out quite as good as I wanted, but I will know for the next time. I think I used too much paint, and I don't know, the needles are probably too close together and the paint kind of leaked. So I don't know, maybe I'll end up just covering it again. Okay, for this one I'm going to try the Waverly and see if maybe that one will turn out a little bit better. So this print also kind of, the paint sort of ran into each other. If you see here, it doesn't look too bad, and I will have a plant on top of it, but I might end up trying it again. The one nice thing about these prints is you can just wash the paint right off and use it again for the stencil. It is just an absolutely beautiful day. Almost feels like spring. It's warm, the birds are singing. I'm headed out here to grab some berries and pines. I love that I have trees outside that I can forage for the house. Sometimes I know getting together over the holidays as families, even though you are close as a family, and you really, I'm very grateful for my family. I love getting together with them. It just fills your love tank. But you know, every family, no family is perfect, and so there are issues that come up sometimes, or things you feel inside of you. Sometimes I think that we want the most from the people that are closest to us, but the people that are closest to us aren't perfect, and they're not able to give completely exactly what we want, maybe always, and so we have to not expect that from them. I think it's important to approach it from the viewpoint that God is really the one that completely fills us. We can have the most loving family, the most, enjoy relationships the most, but human relationships don't fill that emptiness inside of us, and it just frustrates people and each other when we try to get that filled from people. And so a big thing that I want to remember this season is to fill myself with God. He's the one that really fills the deepest longings of my heart, even though I do know that God has created us for relationships, and He has designed us to care for each other emotionally. We need that connection with each other. So I guess there's a balance there.